Oh, forget about this,
Yeah,
Humaira.
no, it's working.
It's working out. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we will speak about Muamalat. Now, the matters of Muamalat is part of the deen. During almost 100 years, these matters of Muamalat have not been taught, or they have been distorted. And today I'm going to present to you the key elements of Muamalat so that you understand. They are very simple. Because the deen is simple. Muamalat is the social and economic model of Islam. There are things in Muamalat that indicate the things that they are haram. And there are things in Muamalat, the majority, indicate what is halal. They are both equally important. You must know what is haram. But it is even more important to know what is halal. What is haram regarding the social matters are many things, but one stands above all others, stands supremely. And this is the matter of riba. And riba is undeniably haram. Now, this country called Pakistan is founded upon riba. It's not an additional thing, it's foundational. And it's foundational because it's written in your constitution. Now, if you want to understand riba, you have to understand the definition of riba. And this today is hidden. We have sat down, and Humaira is the witness, with the most important ulama of this country. And when the matter of definition of riba came into the table, they shy away. And they said, we will settle for interest. The definition they use of riba is interest. But interest is not the meaning of riba. It's only a part of riba. There is more to that. The key of understanding the riba that we have today is to understand the money that we have today. The money that we have today is not an asset. The accountants will prove that this is a liability because it's a promissory note. I promise to pay 1,000 rupees. But it's a liability that it is not intended to be paid. Because 1,000 rupees, which is a silver coin, is more valuable than the value of the paper. Even if the central bank wanted to, which it doesn't want to, pay back, they will not have enough silver in the country to pay back. It's a false liability. So this becomes a false instrument of payment. But then, the majority of the people, the majority of the ulama, the majority of the intellectuals have rationalized this. So they have given it a reality in words. And because of that, the people follow. But it's a lie. Now, the problem with a lie is that in order to support a lie, you need more lies. So from a lie, you have a building up of lies. The central bank is a haram institution. But the people don't dare to say that the central bank is haram. The banks that surround and support the central bank, they are all false. They have no power, but power is attributed to them. And power is attributed to this. So more lies, until you have a mountain of lies so big that nobody dares to say is a lie. It's frightening to say it's a lie, because the people have accepted the lie. They live with the lie. Now for the ulama, the problem is double, because they live with the lie, but they are the holders of Islam. And Islam clearly indicates that this is not right. There is riba in this. So they have to change the meaning of riba. And there is another lie again. And they have to deny the existence of a real currency in Islam. And there is another lie. And there is more lies to support the lie. And they create Islamic banks, which is a supreme lie upon lies, making this institution of kufr, of riba, halal. And more people agree to that, creating an immensity of this lie that now includes the understanding people have of Islam. The problem with living with a lie is that you have to cover up. In order to accept the lie, you have to cover up the reality. But covering up, not looking into it, is kufr. Kufr is cover. The meaning of kufr is cover. So your reality becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And you have to live in that little circle of realities. Then you have an Islam that denies the existence of all these principles, of these affairs. So it's pushed aside, forgotten, and over a few generations, entirely unknown. So the people don't know that zakat cannot be paid with dime. Even if the promissory note was gold dinar, you cannot pay zakat with I promise to pay 20 dinars. You have to pay it with ayn. Then the zakat is not paid correctly. But this is not a small affair. This is fard. This is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It's like saying, let's go and pray to Tel Aviv. You cannot change the fard, but they have changed the fard. And now zakat has become almost everything you want it to be. In Malaysia, for example, it's part of the income tax. Although the income cannot be taxed, but now it's part of zakat. You pay income tax, then you don't have to pay zakat. Or vice versa. Zakat is the income tax. The money is accumulated, put into banks, and then distributed the way they wanted to distribute, to do welfare at their own fashion. Lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. And it is so big, the individual feels frightened to deny it. This country and this constitution, you were told, this is our pride, this is our freedom. But this paper that it was given to you, it was a replica of the constitutions of the host country, the people who have invaded you before. This constitution models the constitutions of all over the world. It's a document of surrender, not of freedom. It's a lie upon all the lies we build. The people who denied that, they were pushed aside. And only those who agreed, they were given position and honors. But honors that they have no standing with Allah. Then you have the state of affairs you have today. But then you say to yourself, then what do I do? How can I confront this? And this is where your fears come into place. my provision, my job. They want you to work all your life for this. You will spend all your life working, and your life will be a testimony that this has value. But then your life will become worthless. Your prayer will have to have a shadow in it. Sincerity, then, it will be shadowed by a lie. Shasha, come and sit down here with me. It's a lie. It's a lie that eats you. It puts fear in you, like all the lies. And then you cannot lift yourself. Without this lifting, you remain ignorant. What saves you is the lifting. The lifting is taqwa. To free yourself from the fear, you need taqwa. If you don't have taqwa, you remain stuck in this world. The rationalization of this lie, the monumental lie, one lie supported by more lies, until it's so big that the people cannot talk about it anymore. The ulama shy before this affair. They say, but my teacher didn't tell me that. Some people say, but my reputation will be harmed, because they didn't see that, because they didn't teach that. Only few will have enough taqwa to see through and to say, I will fight for this. I will not live with this affair. If you follow the way of the people, then you become part of the lie. They are accountants, these young men. They have been invited to join perhaps a bank. And they will say, but you will have a good position here. Come to us. Or it will be a company perhaps, but then they will have lower paid. Whatever the case, you will have to give reality to this, because that's your job. That's what they want you for. And the thought of denying this scares you, because you say, but I have exams now, I have worked so hard for this. Then what will happen to me? I will become poor. But I'm telling you, poverty is to live with this lie. The affair is to reach Allah. Allah will honor you if you fight for Him. If you decide to deny the lie, Allah will protect you. Allah will provide for you. You will be able to help your friends and brothers and sisters. But I know that if you come back home and you say, but Father, this paper is false, He will look at you and He will reprimand you. He said, what are you listening to? Who did you go to see this afternoon? Don't go and see him again. And that will put you away. They will say, no, it cannot be. Reason will cool you down, will bring you down. The reality of this world will bring you down. The only thing that it will free you is the presence of Allah. That you say, He is my provider. I depend on Him. There is nothing but Allah. Nothing but Allah. He has power over these and the banks and the coins and your acts. The bank will not save you. Only Allah can save you. You go back to Him. Go back to Him before you die. Travel to Him. Traveling to Him is the big affair, is Marifatullah, is the teaching of Tasawwuf. Tasawwuf is different than all the other sciences. It's a science about Allah. And knowledge of Allah is knowledge of the self. Knowledge of Allah is to realize that the self is small. It doesn't have autonomy. It cannot rule the world. You cannot decide riba is halal. It's not you to decide that. Your will has no authority over the world. Only the will of Allah has authority over the world. You want something and it's not going to happen. Only what Allah wants is going to happen. Don't seek frustration by following your will, but follow His will. To do that, you have to abandon your attributes, yourself. The reality of yourself, you have to abandon it and borrow His. The more a slave you are, the freer you become. When you reach enough and you are capable of seeing your nafs behind, then you have started this journey of Marifah. This is the tariqah. This is what I was taught, and the teachers behind me, what they taught. But there are few people in Pakistan who teach this. Tasawwuf has become an affair of the sensory. The people sing, they do dhikr. I was in the dhikr of some people, but I saw it was only manifesting. There was no journey, because the teacher had never reached the maqam. If you don't have the maqam, how are you going to bring the people there? If you have never felt the separation, how can you teach other people to bring them there? Fanafila, is the affair of Tasawwuf. Not everybody reached there. Especially in this time. There was other times where there were many, and the Mujdubs and the Dervish, they ran in your land. This was a land of Dervishes, and the people have fear of Allah. But this lie has eaten you and corrupted you and brought you into a world of realities that is false, is an illusion. The world of the nerves is a complete illusion. All of it is a veil, and behind the veil, the meaning is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why they say knowledge is wherever you look, the face of Allah. You have to seek that. Seeking is arriving. The desire is the condition of knowledge. You have to want that. When you want that, you will find the company of the people who can take you into the journey. And when you have lifted yourself up 1 degree, you haven't finished, because there is more. When you reach Fana, there is more still. Because nobody of the people of knowledge have said, I have arrived. This is a science of humbleness. Because it doesn't matter how high you are, there is more ahead of you. And more and more and more. When you find people who can take you there, grasp it, because there is no many. Hold on to it. Initially, all these things will sound to you like something strange. You heard it because you live in a culture of ghazals. You know ishq, you've seen it. Bollywood makes even movies about ishq. They take your songs and they have been trivialized in Indian dancing. But these songs were written by people of high caliber, much greater than us. And what they meant was this journey. It's not mundane affairs, it's the affair of the journey to Allah. So you have it in the language. Urdu is the great asset of this nation. Not your oil, but your language. But they are taking the language away from you. This Nawaz Sharif or Sawaz Sharif has taken the Urdu from the schools. They want you to speak English, which is a much lower language. So they want you not to speak the language of wisdom, but the language of the internet. Then they will manipulate you easier. But if you go back to the language and you understand the words and you seek the knowledge from these words, then you will understand. Then you have to take the journey. It's only difficult in the first step. The first step is difficult because you have to taste something, and before you taste it, there's no explanation for it. Only when you've done it, then you understand. But how do you explain? There are words for it, but they will not help you. The abandonment of the self, what is that? How can I live myself? Living my attributes, what is the meaning of that? But when you lift yourself up, when you do once the step, then the second is easier, and the third is easier, and the fourth is easier, and from then on, there is nothing to stop you. The Shaykh is not the door of knowledge. He's the one who has gone ahead. He's the one who indicates you, and who could perhaps avoid from you the cul-de-sacs. You don't waste time. You keep going in the right direction. And he can take you as far as he can go. And he's a great Shaykh. He will tell you to go ahead. For nobody is a door or an obstacle to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the sign of the right Shaykh. The one who says, you need me to know Allah. My Shaykh used to say, run away from them as you run from fire. They are liars, charlatans. These people, they fill themselves with titles, but they have nothing. Because if they had something, they will not be doing what they are doing. Knowledge of Allah, Hakika, and Sharia are together. Nobody can say, but I have a great status with Allah, and they cannot see what is wrong with the society around them. They cannot see the Sharia. How can somebody have sight of all the angels and everything? They see everything, but they cannot see what is in front of them. They cannot give advice to the people. They cannot help them because they cannot see. But these are not difficult things to see. Because what is money? What does your heart tell you is money? This or this? A 5-year-old will understand. But there are 20 and 30s and 40 years old who do not understand. It's not that they don't understand, it's that they frighten them. They're frightened by it. Because the lie is so big, it will deny themselves. That's why if your nafs holds the reality of yourself, then you cannot lift up. You have to deny the self entirely. You have to deny who you are, your profession, your nationality, your historicity. Because none of it matters before Allah. When all is gone, then you are free, then you can travel. That is fanafila. Then you can see. And when you can see, then you can guide. But better, you can lead. Because nobody will say, do something which is not being done by himself. The leader stands ahead. He is the first one. He follows. Allah. And these are the signs. The sign is not the size of your beard, of your turban. The signs of these is what you can see and what you do. If you are paralyzed in this world and you cannot move, then you cannot see. If the sickness is in town and you cannot cure the people, then you don't know the illness and you don't know the cure of the illness. Then all your high status is for nothing. For Allah has made the Sharia stand above. We will be judged by the Sharia. That's why even the Sufi is not free from the Sharia. Some people say they are, but they are liars. They are kafir if they deny the Sharia. The Sharia is our banner. If the banner stands in the middle of the army is strong. But if you take the banner away, the army disappears. It falls apart. It has no weight. It has no direction. It has no wisdom. It has no victory. Never victory. Only failures. Except they will call failure success. Then you have movements today like Tablighi Jamaat. They lie. They deny this reality. That's why the businessmen, they like to join Tablighi Jamaat. And that's why these young accountants will be tempted. Because if they join Tablighi Jamaat, then they will not have to be worried about riba, because they don't talk about that. But they will have a good job and probably they will be employed. But these are liars. Some will wake up, some will not. Allah is what Allah wants. The world is the way Allah wants it to be. You cannot change the world without Allah wanting to change the world. If you want to change the world, you have to change yourself. You can only be a beacon of the reality and to tell the people, trust Allah, follow Allah, even if you do not understand. Don't be scared of this world. But you cannot cure fear with reason. That's why there is no psychology in Islam. The Sufis don't have psychology. They destroy psychic. We don't believe there is an ego. We destroy the ego. If you want knowledge of yourself, you have to have knowledge of Allah. You have to desire Allah more than you desire yourself. And if you can taste that, then you are free. Then you can see, then you can help the people around you. There is no technique of fana. There is only desire. You have seen the diwans of the shuyukh that have been given to illustrate, to give guidance in the path. But fana is desire. It's an affair of the heart. There is no special dhikr, a secret dhikr, or a secret word, like the people come and they say, give me the dhikr that it will free me. They are looking for something special, like a magic. But there is only, the only dhikr that matters is Allah. If you want the dhikr, you want the secret dhikr of the Sufis, the sir of the Sufis is Allah. But don't say it with your mouth, say it with the heart. Say it in such manner that when you say it, your nerves disappear. When you can contemplate that there is nothing but Him, then you have reached a status. Then you have authority, because you can see. And when you say the name of Allah, it has weight. Otherwise, it has no weight at all. If you cannot see, you are blind. If you cannot see the face of Allah wherever you look, you are blind. If you cannot act in the way Allah has indicated, you are dead. You are paralyzed, dead. You just become a robot, a lamb in his way to the slaughterhouse. And you don't want to move out of the queue because they say, what is out there? I better follow. I'd rather follow the line, even though you know the slaughterhouse is at the end. But not everybody buys that. There is always some. There is always. One of the murids came to Shaykh ibn al-Habib, the Shaykh of my Shaykh, and he said, oh Shaykh, you are the only one. And he got very furious. He said, no, there is always 40 of the Maqam of Ibrahim. I'm not the only one. If there was not for these people, the whole world will disintegrate. Light keeps the thing going. But there is only one source of light, and this is Allah. This is the affair. You can see that speaking about Muamalat is not different than speaking about Marifatullah, because the affair is simple. Simple. It's not complicated. It's so simple. The reason gets upset because it expects something complicated, but the truth is simple. It's not the narrative, but it's the state of your heart that matters. If you can lift yourself from this world, then you will be able to act. If you cannot act, if you find yourself scared, if there is something that scares you from this world, don't be shy. Don't get rid of it too quickly. Contemplate it first, because that is yourself. That is the self. Look at it and blow it away. There is nothing in this world, nothing in this world that compares to Allah. Fear Allah. If you want to conquer your fears, fear Allah. If you feel attracted to this world, feel attracted to Allah even more, so that you can understand yourself, you can understand dunya, and you can deal with it. The people of this affair, they have said, either you are the master of dunya, or dunya is your master, and there is nothing in between. And the wisdom of that is that when you don't want, when you are not interested in dunya, then you understand what it is. Then you can take what you want and leave the rest. And for the high people, they are told, live like a bird. You don't know where your next meal is coming from. But this is not for everybody. This is only for very few. But this is the full extent of the affair. You want to seek that in order to move from the state you're in and acquire the first maqam, and then follow and follow and follow. Company is essential. If you follow the company of the people who do not see, you will not see. But if you follow the company of the people who can see, then you will be lured into it. To take the drink, the elixir It's not that all the Sufis are drunk. The drink is Marifatullah. The tavern of the drunkards are the zawiyas, where they gather, so that they can say to each other these things, because they want to hear the name of Allah. And in their company you will hear Allah, Allah, Allah many times, because Allah is close to the tongue, because they cannot speak of anything else. Being in the company of people that they cannot speak about anything else. They have a compulsion to speak about Allah because their heart is full of it. And this company is a blessed company because it will give you courage. It will also give you desire. And desire is the door. Desire is the door. Desire is to want it more than anything in this world. To follow it, it doesn't matter where it goes. To chase it, even if it stings you, because it will sting you at the beginning. It will frighten you. Like I was telling you before. It frightens you to look at the reality. But you want it so much that you will pass through that. And all that will become honey. The poison will become honey. And then the honey will become poison. And the poison and the honey will become the same. And I heard this from my Shaykh when I was a young student and I couldn't understand. But I believe that was the way. And when the day came, I saw it. This is the affair of Tasawwuf. This is what the Shaykhs of these chains of people have taught. It's not ideas. It's something you do. It's something that happens to you. When you want it, go to the people who have it and ask them for the drink. For there is none of them who don't want to share it. But if you never ask, you will never get it. Pakistan is the place. Because despite of all that, something has been left with you. It's love for Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I've never seen people who love Rasul the way you do. And that is your protection. Now seek Allah, and you will be able to find the courage to eliminate these lies in which people live. And if you find yourself that you cannot do it, don't be desperate. For I will tell you, you cannot do it. You cannot do it. But you must know that Allah can do it. Don't use your hands. Don't use your attributes. But use His attributes. Act in His way. Then you will find the courage and the power that it doesn't come from here. And then you will be able to free the people around you. And Allah will honor you. It's the honor of Allah that you want, not the honor of man. The honor of man will bring you down. Don't seek the honor of man. Despise the honor of man. Shy from the honor of man. And then you will get the honor of Allah. That is the way of our people. I don't promise an easy ride, but I promise to you the biggest bliss that you will ever have in this world. The difficulty doesn't make us shy. The difficulty is the signpost, the indication to go higher. Victory doesn't belong to us. Victory belongs to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I've done it perfectly, 4:30. We have to go now.